Andrew Malton uses language in order to deliver the idea of how water from space can directly influence humanity, and uses visual devices to emphasize his ideas. For example, in the beginning, Marlton cites statistics and data such as science has found the largest mass of water in the universe, and the water in a cloud with 140 trillion times more water than all of Earth's oceans combined, to pique the audience's interest and to provide them on the context of the points he will be further arguing. That is, that water can be used to help humanity, but that people choose not to. From this, he establishes a wondrous and exciting tone, which educates the audience on scientific discoveries, something a general audience may not be interested in, within an engaging and entertaining way to keep them engaged. He uses the visuals to accentuate these aspects. In panel 2, the scientist characters who don lab coats have gobsmacked facial expressions. Scientists are presumed to have a higher intelligence than most people, so if something shocks them, and this something is a laptop with Emanata indicating information delivered to them, then it must be shocking. Furthermore, Marlton has used visuals to provide a scale of how big the water space cloud is in panel 3. This scale provides humor to the audience as it juxtaposes the size of the space cloud with a lobster. But this also provides a scale so readers can compare the size of the space cloud to Earth's oceans. Overall, there is the satirical aspect to it, as a lobster is a completely ridiculous choice to compare such a wondrous discovery such as a space cloud to, and brings a level of ridiculousness up to the entire concept, providing an additional sense of humor. Typically, scales will include things only of relevance, rather than the size of an average person to compare the cloud to. It uses a lobster, something that people may not know the size of, nor know how to compare the size of a space cloud to. At the bottom of panel 3, Malton delivers the punchline, "Not to scale, even a little bit," which shocks the audience even further as they realize each of their attempts to compare the size of a lobster to a space cloud have been in vain, and emphasize the absurdist tone. For the last 3 panels, Malton shifts his whimsical tone to a darker one, reflecting reality. For the first 3 panels, Malton had used exclamation points in phrases like, "You won't believe this," as dialogue, or "The rover could have Earth germs on it," to portray an excited tone of voice. In panel 3, he even uses the idiom of "the mind boggles." However, in panel 4, he states the statistic of almost 800 million people have no access to water, and nearly 2.5 billion people do not have access to adequate sanitation. This shifts the tone from whimsical to dark as the audience is reminded of imminent problems around the world. Earlier on, he talked about sanitation in an immature way of "Earth cooties" in dialogue. Nonetheless, panel 4's tone of voice is written very matter-of-fact and slightly melancholic. The phrase "Earth cooties" is repeated, yet takes on a completely different meaning. When it was earlier stated in panel 1, it was done in a hypothetical scenario depicting 2 Martians, Mars alien residents if you didn't know. These Martians in question are of pink and green color, totally removed from human skin tones. The audience is able to laugh at this scenario as inhuman creatures take on human traits. It is unexpected and interesting. However, in panel 4, the characters are depicted with brown and peach color, most likely reflecting the real marginalized communities today. The phrase Earth Cooties could portray how the characters in Panel 4 are children, and they are saying this phrase because they are unable to properly articulate their unsanitary and dangerous living environment. The water statistics from earlier panels are put into a new context. The audience is baffled by this injustice as they realize there is an abundance of water to go around, whether in space or on Earth. All in all, Andrew Moulton uses language devices to deliver statistics to the audience to show how scientific discoveries affect marginalized groups around the world. He uses visual devices to give the audience further aid so they can fully comprehend his data and so they can empathize with the marginalized groups he's depicting.